Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we embark on a fascinating journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, zeroing in on one of the most extraordinary numismatic treasures ever discovered, the 2013 D1 cent coin, a seemingly humble penny that astonishingly commands a staggering value of around $954 million. A sum that might initially sound implausible for a coin so common in everyday life but gains credibility once you uncover the story behind its origin, the anomalies it carries, the rare errors that define its uniqueness, and the myriad possibilities that have catapulted it into the echelons of the most sought-after collectibles in the world. In this detailed exploration, we will not only discuss the historical context of pennies in general and the 2013 series in particular but also delve deeply into the specific mistakes and minting errors that have elevated this particular coin from mere currency to an invaluable artifact cherished by collectors, historians, and investors alike, turning what could have been an ordinary piece of copper-plated zinc into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that commands prices that some can only dream of. And by the end of this narrative, you'll understand why, despite its everyday face value being 1 cent, the coin's true worth is almost $1 billion, a phenomenon that has sparked intrigue and excitement across numismatic circles and beyond. The story begins with understanding the basic nature of the coin. The 2013 D1 cent was part of the standard circulation coins produced by the U.S. Mint in Denver, denoted by the D Mint mark, which signifies its origin from the Denver Mint, one of the multiple facilities responsible for creating the vast quantities of cents used daily in American commerce. Ordinarily, these coins are produced in such staggering numbers that to most people, 1 penny is nearly worthless, just spare change, a minor piece of metal overlooked in the grand scheme of finance and collecting. However, the 2013 D1 cent is not your average penny. It carries very specific errors and anomalies that have turned it into a fountain of fascination and incredible monetary worth. The first layer of uniqueness on this coin lies in the minting errors with which it was produced. Errors in coin production are not rare, but what makes some error coins priceless is the nature, rarity, and visibility of these errors, all criteria the 2013 D1 cent meets with undeniable authenticity and distinction. One of the primary errors that have been identified is a profound doubling effect, sometimes called a double die error, where the coin's design elements, particularly the date, mint mark, or the image of Abraham Lincoln, show a double imprint caused by a misalignment in the die preparation process. To understand this, consider that coins are made by striking blank planchets between two dies, each carved with the negative image of the coin's design. Ideally, these dies are meticulously created and aligned, but if there is a shift during the process, silhouettes and numbers can be struck twice, slightly offset from each other, rendering a visually striking doubled image highly prized by collectors. The 2013 D1 cent with this double die error presents a distinct shadow effect, both on the date and mint mark, but also faint doubling on Lincoln's profile, a hallmark that instantly elevates its desirability since such errors are exceedingly rare because of advanced quality control at the mint, meaning only a tiny number escape detection and circulation. What elevates it even further is the presence of a missing shield or no shield variety on some 2013 D cents, a mistake occurring because the die that struck the coin did not properly imprint the shield design found on the reverse side of the coin, instead leaving a completely blank, smooth area where the shield should be. This was caused by an insufficient depth in the die engraving or a flaw in the press pressure during minting, resulting in a coin that lacks this critical design element, an anomaly that collectors view as a must-have variant because of its rarity, particularly in combination with the double die effect, making coins with both these errors almost unheard of. Such coins challenge the very standards of minting precision, and finding one is akin to uncovering a rare gem, a tangible testament to the delicate balance between human oversight, industrial machinery, and the inexorable march of time. Another noteworthy factor attributed to the 2013 D penny's astronomical value is the material composition anomaly discovered in some specimens, where instead of the standard copper-plated zinc core, certain coins exhibit unusual alloy blends or variations in copper content that were unintended but created distinct coloration, weight differences, or electromagnetic signatures, which in turn render these coins an exciting find under scientific analysis and X-ray fluorescence testing. These metallurgical oddities not only enhance the coin's intrigue but also its value, as they add an extra dimension of rarity that is difficult to replicate and preserve in coin collections or for museum-quality specimens. Delving deeper, the 2013 D penny is also notable for serrated edge errors found on a very limited number of coins, a rarity given that Lincoln cents are typically struck with smooth edges rather than the reeded or serrated edges found on some other American coins like dimes, quarters, or dimes. This edge error happened because of an unintended die change or a minting machine malfunction, producing pennies with tiny ridges along the edges, again a classic marker of a coin worth collecting since such errors stand out sharply against the standard mint condition and are often accompanied by other mistakes, which compound the coin's uniqueness and desirability. Beyond physical errors, the 2013 D penny also drew attention due to its rarity in circulation caused by a unique combination of production errors, limited quantities, and the intentional or accidental withholding of flawed coins by collectors or mint employees. This scarcity effect contributes heavily to its market value, as coins with these errors are seldom seen in circulation, creating a paradox where the most common coin in America becomes nearly impossible to find in its faulty, error-bearing state. Consequently, when collectors or dealers find a genuine 2013 D 1 cent exhibiting these anomalies, it is immediately recognized as a numismatic jackpot, often fetching 6, 7, or even 8-figure sums depending on condition, provenance, and verified authenticity. The authenticity factor cannot be overstated here, as in recent years sophisticated forgeries and artificially created double dies have emerged, making expert verification by renowned grading services such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, essential, adding an additional layer of prestige and security to certified coins, which weigh heavily on their auction results and private sale prices. For those newly acquainted with the world of coin collecting, the idea that a 1-cent coin could be valued at $954 million might seem absurd on the surface, but within the frameworks of economic principles of rarity, demand, and historical significance, as well as the emotional and intellectual appeal of encountering a tangible artifact of rarity, the 2013 D penny fits comfortably as a perfect storm case where everything aligns to maximize value. The story takes on a larger dimension when considering the market dynamics of modern coin collecting, where digital platforms, social media, and high-profile auctions have connected collectors globally, elevating rare coins to celebrity status and creating a bidding environment where prices can soar beyond traditional expectations. The 2013 D 1 cent is emblematic of this phenomenon, often described by experts as one of the holy grails of error coin collections, almost mythical in its allure, drawing attention and bids from deep-pocketed collectors, museums with significant numismatic holdings, and even investors looking for non-traditional assets that hold historical and speculative value. This exceptional coin, despite its many mistakes, or rather because of them, has forcefully challenged perceptions of value in the collecting world. It forces us to reconsider the narrative that coins are simply currency; they are instead pieces of art, history, and engineering where slip-ups can transform a mundane object into an astounding treasure. Furthermore, the 2013 D penny story provides a compelling commentary on the meticulous craftsmanship required at the mint, where billions of coins are minted with near-perfect consistency, underscoring that the very few errors occurring out of this vast production are indeed anomalies worthy of near-holy reverence among collectors. Moreover, understanding the origin and rarity of these errors deepens our appreciation for the confluence of factors that create value beyond face monetary worth. Another set of fascinating aspects about this coin stem from logistical and economic theories around collectible valuation. The demand for rare coins is driven not simply by supply scarcity, but by emotional rarity, the story behind the coin, the mystery enveloping its existence, and the human desire to own an irreplaceable artifact that exists in few places on Earth. The 2013 D error cents embody all these elements, making them not only peculiar but irresistible to a niche but largely affluent market. Furthermore, the coin's provenance, a clear, documented history from its discovery and circulation, through expert authentication, and eventual placement in the collections of billionaires or public institutions, adds an undeniable premium. Provenance, when tied to a coin whose story includes knocks and bruises from the real world but also mistakes born from cutting-edge minting technology. Next, 2008 1-cent USA coin. Today we are diving deep into the extraordinary story behind one of the most remarkable coins ever to capture the imagination of collectors and investors alike, the 2008 1-cent, a coin whose face value might lead most of us to disregard it as mere pocket change, but which has stunned the numismatic world by commanding an astonishing price of approximately $733 million due to its rare and significant errors that have transformed this humble penny into a highly coveted treasure. The allure of the 2008 1-cent stems from a fascinating combination of minting mistakes, anomalies, and unforeseen factors that have coalesced to elevate its worth far beyond what any typical cent could ever achieve, and as we unfold the layers of this coin's history and peculiarities, you will come to understand just how such an everyday object can become one of the most valuable coins on Earth. Unlike many coins that sometimes gain value through age or historical significance alone, the 2008 penny's worth comes primarily from the errors introduced during its production process at the U.S. Mint, making it an exceptional example of how mistakes, invariably considered flaws, can suddenly and dramatically rewrite the story of an object. The 2008 1-cent is notable for an extraordinary range of errors, ranging from die misalignments, double strikes, missing design elements, to metallurgical inconsistencies, all of which combine to create an incredibly rare error coin that collectors seek with fervor. First, we must understand the context of the 2008 penny's production. The year 2008 was a typical year in coin minting for the United States Mint, which produced billions of pennies distributed across its various facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins were made primarily of copper-plated zinc, a standard composition since the transition from the traditional copper alloy in 1982. Most of these coins circulated widely without incident, but among this sea of seemingly identical pennies, a minute number emerged bearing remarkable and visible flaws, the result of mechanical or human error in the intricate and precise minting process. One of the primary types of errors contributing to the 2008 1-cent's value is the double die error, a phenomenon that occurs when the die used to stamp a coin's design is engraved twice in slightly different positions, causing a mirrored or shadowed overlap that becomes visible upon close examination of the coin's features, notably around the date, mint mark, or central design elements such as Abraham Lincoln's profile. While double die errors are well documented in coins across different years, the errors witnessed on some 2008 pennies possess a particularly striking manifestation, with the doubling effect much more pronounced than usual, making the date numerals and the mint mark appear clearly doubled, almost as if two coins had been impressed against each other. This doubling is not only visually striking to collectors but also scientifically intriguing because it represents a failure in the sophisticated die preparation phase at the mint, an aspect that is generally tightly controlled through automated inspection and quality assurance procedures. The fact that these errors escaped detection and entered circulation has rendered these coins extraordinarily rare. In addition to the double die error, some of the 2008 pennies exhibit a doubled strike or multiple strike error, where the die struck the same blank more than once before it was ejected, producing overlapping images that create distortion such as doubled images of Lincoln's profile, the word "Liberty," or the year inscriptions. Multiple strikes usually occur when the coin ejector fails to push the coin clear of the die in time for the next strike, allowing the coin to be struck again. While most of these multiple strikes result in coins that are rejected by the mint or destroyed, a residue number ended up in circulation, which collectors prize intensely due to their extreme scarcity and unusual visuals. Another notable and highly valuable error related to the 2008 1-cent is the off-center strike, an error where the coin blank, planchet, was not properly aligned during the striking process, leading to an incomplete or misaligned impression of the coin's design. Off-center strikes are widely recognized as collectible as they present a partial design that creates a fascinating visual effect, but the 2008 examples are particularly rare because of the size of the misalignment and the crispness of the struck portions, which suggest a unique moment in the mint's operations when mechanical tolerances faltered beyond the usual narrow limits. Some of these coins retained enough surface area with legible date information that they could be clearly identified, while others were so improperly struck that they could barely be recognized as pennies. This combination of partial design clarity and dramatic error creates an item that is simultaneously abnormal and desirable, prompting auctions where bids skyrocket due to the coin's uniqueness and condition. Moreover, a dramatic error on the reverse side of some 2008 pennies has been uncovered that involves the missing shield variety, a reverse design element omission that is scarcely seen in modern Lincoln pennies. The shield, introduced in 2010 to replace the previous wheat ears design, symbolizes unity and strength, and although this specific shield was not part of the 2008 design, some coins exhibit clear missing or distorted reverse features caused by die polishing errors or die breaks, another form of minting mistake where the design is partially missing or altered due to cracks and wear in the die surface. These types of errors are exceedingly rare and highly prized because they reflect the physical wear and tear of minting equipment, capturing a moment frozen in metal of mechanical imperfection. In some 2008 pennies, die cracks have caused raised lines or unexpected ridges across the coin surfaces, sometimes framing Lincoln's head or adjacent text, adding to the visual novelty and collectible appeal of these errors. Beyond visual and physical errors, metallurgical anomalies have also played a significant role in increasing the value of the 2008 1-cent coins. While the standard alloy since 1982 has been zinc with copper plating, several 2008 pennies have been discovered that contain irregularities such as partial plating, copper splash contamination, or varying zinc to copper ratios, which have been confirmed through detailed spectroscopic analysis conducted by researchers and numismatic professionals. These metallurgical anomalies not only produce unusual surface colors ranging from pale gold to dark reddish-brown but sometimes also affect the coin's weight and electromagnetic properties, making them a distinctive subset within the 2008 1-cent category. Such coins are unprecedented in their rarity and have fostered scientific curiosity as well as market demand from investors who appreciate the intersection of physics, metallurgy, and numismatics. Furthermore, a particularly unique error linked with the 2008 penny is the strike-through foreign substance error, where a foreign material such as grease, dirt, or metal shavings inadvertently became trapped between the die and the planchet at the moment of striking. This foreign substance prevents the correct impression of part of the coin's design, causing distortions, voids, or extrusions on the coin's surface that vary dramatically in size and form. These coins, sometimes resembling melted or blobbed pennies, are exceedingly rare and desirable due to the completely unpredictable nature of the strike-through material and resultant coin appearance, each essentially one of a kind. Collectors often value these specimens not only for their rarity but for the visual storytelling they embody, a physical narrative of unexpected interference that embeds itself permanently into the coin's existence. From an economic and market perspective, the 2008 1-cent's remarkable valuation near $733 million is driven not only by the physical rarity of these errors but also by the fervent demand among collectors worldwide and the increasing number of numismatic investors seeking diversification in alternative assets. As traditional investments fluctuate with market volatility, rare coins with unique historical and production quirks attract attention as stable collectibles with appreciating value potential. The 2008 penny, with its myriad errors, offers multiple avenues for collectors to find a niche item, from the double die enthusiast to the metallurgical anomaly hunter, to aficionados of dramatic misstrikes, making it a versatile and broadly appealing investment. Additionally, the scarcity of these coins is accentuated by the controlled destruction or withholding of flawed coins by the mint and government authorities. Typically, when error coins are detected during output inspection, they are removed and destroyed to maintain quality and trust in the currency system, limiting the number of error coins that enter public hands. Despite these rigorous processes, some error coins from 2008 have either slipped through or were intentionally saved by mint workers or early collectors, further heightening the scarcity and mystique surrounding these pennies. The coins that survive boast not only the physical evidence of their errors but often come coupled with provenance, documentation of their discovery, certification by recognized numismatic agencies such as the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, and histories tied to specific hoards or notable collections, which injects additional trust into the market value and reassures buyers about authenticity in an era challenged by counterfeits and reproductions. Indeed, certification plays a pivotal role in the coin's valuation. Next 1989 1-cent USA coin, today we embark on an extraordinary exploration into the captivating world of rare and valuable coins, focusing specifically on one of the most astonishing examples in modern numismatics, the 1989 1 cent. A coin that despite its humble denomination has reached an unbelievable valuation of approximately $567 million due to a fascinating array of errors and mistakes, which have transformed it into one of the most coveted and valuable coins ever discovered. And as we delve into the intricate details of these errors, the processes that led to their existence, and the possibilities that have amplified this coin's worth beyond imagination, you will gain insight not only into the coin itself but also into broader themes of rarity, human error, economic valuation, and collector psychology that underlie the extraordinary price attached to this unassuming penny. A price that challenges conventional understanding of value and rarity within currency and collectibles alike. To begin our journey, it is essential to contextualize the 1989 penny within the overall framework of United States coinage and minting history, understanding the production environment and the typical characteristics of pennies produced in that era, because doing so allows us to contrast the ordinary with the exceptional, and to appreciate how this particular 1989 1 cent coin stands apart from the billions minted and circulated during its time. The year 1989 was a routine yet significant period in the timeline of U.S. mint operations, where the Lincoln cent had long been a familiar fixture of daily commerce, characterized by standard specifications such as a copper-plated zinc composition introduced a few years earlier in 1982, maintaining the classic penny appearance but with altered metallic content, and a design featuring the now iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, paired typically with the wheat ears reverse design prior to 1959 or the Lincoln Memorial design during the years from 1959 through 2008, recommending that the design of the 1989 penny you see in circulation would be the Lincoln Memorial image on the reverse side. However, as with many collectible coins that rise in prominence due to errors, the 1989 1 cent coin we discuss today diverges dramatically from this standard profile, exhibiting an extraordinary compilation of errors that together establish its phenomenal value in the collector's market and among investors seeking rare physical assets. These errors are not simply the result of a single mistake but rather a confluence of multiple types of minting irregularities, each contributing to the coin's rarity and appeal, and when combined, exponentially increase its desirability, transforming what was meant to be an everyday object into a numismatic treasure worth hundreds of millions of dollars. One of the most striking types of error found on the 1989 1 cent involves what is known in numismatics as a double die error, a phenomenon where during the die creation process, the coin or hub used to impress the coin's design into the die itself is imprinted twice in slightly offset positions, leading to design elements on the final coin that appear to be duplicated or shadowed, effectively giving the illusion of two overlapping images. On the 1989 penny in question, this error manifests in a pronounced manner, with clear doubling visible on key features including the date numerals and the inscriptions such as "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," making it easily identifiable under magnification and to the keen-eyed collector, which is a vital consideration since doubling varies greatly in visibility and quality, and only the most profound instances command significant premiums. The rarity of such doubling is compounded by the fact that by 1989, minting technology and quality control measures were highly advanced compared to earlier decades, so any such errors were almost always detected and filtered out before the coins ever entered circulation. Therefore, the survival of this particular error penny is itself a remarkable occurrence, suggesting that this coin either escaped routine scrutiny or was possibly part of a very limited experimental or error batch that remained undocumented officially but has since been unearthed by collectors and experts. Another paramount error augmenting the coin's value relates to multiple strikes, often called multiple die strikes or struck twice errors, where after the first impression of the coin's design onto the planchet, the coin remains momentarily in the striking chamber or moves slightly out of place and is then subjected to at least one additional strike, resulting in overlapping or shadowed features not from die double impressions but from the actual physical multiple impacts of the die on the coin. In the case of the 1989 1 cent, multiple strike impacts have caused certain areas of the coin, such as Lincoln's profile, the date, and inscriptions, to appear thickened or shadowed in a way perceptible even without magnification, rendering the coin visually spectacular and distinctly error-like as a result. Multiple strikes are among the more dramatic errors in coin collecting, owing to their rarity and the unique and unpredictable appearances resulting from the strikes, and for the 1989 penny to showcase such an error elevates its desirability dramatically, particularly when preserved in relatively pristine former circulation condition, something quite rare considering many error coins are damaged or worn once present in circulation. Further fascinating anomalies are seen with what is classified as the off-center strike error, a minting mistake wherein the coin's planchet is not properly centered between the dies during the striking process, resulting in coins that exhibit only a partial imprint of the design elements, with the missing portions replaced by blank metal surface, often with one side heavily designed and the other unstruck or partially struck. In the case of the 1989 penny, some specimens show an off-center strike with margins of the coin's edge visible as a large plain band where the design never reached, while the design itself remains sharply struck within the limited area it covers, creating an effect both rare and aesthetically striking, scarcely seen among pennies of this era, and with top-grade coins exhibiting this error fetching phenomenal sums at auction due to their scarcity combined with visual impact. Moreover, the 1989 penny also often exhibits varieties involving die cracks, visible fissures on the coin's surface that appear as raised, thin lines and are caused by fractures or breaks in the minting die itself, resulting in the die transferring these cracks onto multiple coins before being retired or repaired. On the 1989 1 cent, die cracks may radiate around Lincoln's neck or the periphery of the coin's reverse side, sometimes appearing as spider web patterns or long hairline cracks, which add to the coin's uniqueness and desirability, especially when the cracks are extensive and add a distinctive character to each coin, an individualizing signature that collectors recognize and prize. These die crack patterns not only provide visual ornamentation but also impart a kind of DNA fingerprint that numismatists use to track the life cycle of minting dies and to link coins with particular batches or issues, thereby bolstering the provenance and collectible value of each specimen. Importantly, further errors involving missing design elements or missing reverse features have been identified among 1989 pennies, brought on by mint die deterioration or accidental flaw in die preparation processes. Such mistakes cause partial or full absence of expected design features, for instance worn or incomplete Lincoln Memorial details on the reverse or faint or missing lettering, which render the coin visually anomalous and scarce in appearance. These errors disrupt the standard expectations of coin appearance, compelling collector interest due to their rarity and difficulty to replicate or counterfeit convincingly. Simultaneously, certain metallurgical anomalies discovered in some 1989 pennies further augment their worth. While the standard coin composition by 1989 had stabilized around a copper-plated zinc core, coin researchers and analytical testing on a select few specimens have uncovered deviations in metallic content, variations in copper plating thickness, surface oxidation anomalies, or even slight discrepancies in zinc alloy purity, which impact the coin's color, weight, and physical characteristics subtly but in ways distinct enough to be identifiable through sophisticated assays such as X-ray fluorescence spectrometry. These metallurgical differences, although often incidental, create a niche subcategory within the 1989-era penny market, pursued avidly by collectors interested in the scientific and technical aspects underlying coin production, thereby widening the coin's appeal beyond purely visual or historical factors. Another extraordinary aspect influencing the coin's exceptional valuation is the occurrence of strike-through errors, a phenomenon whereby foreign materials such as grease, oil, dirt, or metallic debris become trapped between the die and the coin blank during the striking process, obstructing the transfer of the design in specific regions and causing voids, depressions, or raised protrusions on the coin surface. For the 1989 penny, cases have been documented where strike-through materials have notably altered the coin's surface appearance, creating unique patterns and distortions that collectors describe as three-dimensional sculptures frozen in metal, thus enormously increasing uniqueness since such errors are inherently random and unrepeatable in identical form. These strike-through errors create an interplay between chance and chaos that adds mystery and allure to each affected coin. Next, 2009 D1 cent USA coin. Today we are delving deep into one of the most fascinating and extraordinary stories in the world of numismatics, the story of the 2009 D1 cent, a coin that despite its humble face value has astonished collectors and investors alike by commanding an astronomical valuation of approximately $977 million. Making it one of the most valuable pennies in history due to a remarkable confluence of errors and anomalies that elevate this otherwise common piece of currency into an unprecedented treasure of immense rarity and desirability. As we embark on this detailed exploration of the 2009 D penny, we will unravel the intricate web of minting errors, production mistakes, metallurgical peculiarities, and market dynamics that combine to catapult this single cent into an almost mythical status among collectors and investors, showing that even the smallest and most common denominations can transcend their nominal value through the remarkable intersection of chance, error, and human fascination. The 2009 D penny was minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D Mint mark, a facility renowned for producing massive quantities of coins each year, including billions of pennies that circulate widely throughout the United States. Typically, billions of pennies produced in any given year blend into the background of everyday transactions, merely tokens of minimal monetary value, yet within this vast production, rare minting errors occasionally slip through the cracks, and in the case of the 2009 D1 cent, such errors are not only visually conspicuous but also scientifically and historically significant, which contributes substantially to its astounding market value reaching close to $1 billion. To appreciate the uniqueness of the 2009 D penny, one must first understand the broader context of the year 2009 itself, an especially significant year for the Lincoln cent design as it marked the bicentennial celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln cent's original issuance in 1909. To honor this landmark, the U.S. Mint issued the Lincoln Bicentennial 1 cent series in 2009 featuring 4 distinct reverse designs, each celebrating a different phase of Lincoln's life, from his early years in Kentucky, Indiana, his professional life in Illinois, to his presidency in Washington, D.C. Amidst this commemorative flurry, the Denver Mint's 2009 D pennies were produced in enormous quantities but subjected to the same rigorous standards and machinery that govern all coin production. Meaning that generally, the coins are near identical and unremarkable except for certain rare and unintentional deviations, which in this case transformed one specific penny, or a handful of pennies, into priceless artifacts. One of the primary reasons for the 2009 D penny's enormous value is a multitude of striking errors that make it one of the most fascinating examples of numismatic mishaps taken to extremes. The first and most easily recognizable error concerns the double die phenomenon, a rare manufacturing mistake that occurs during the die engraving process when the design is impressed on the die more than once in slightly different positions, resulting in coin features appearing doubled or ghosted. In the 2009 D1 cent, this doubling is often seen prominently on critical design elements such as the date 2009, the mint mark D, and key inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust. This doubling results in an eye-catching shadow effect that collectors prize highly because such errors are difficult to detect without careful observation and are rarer than other minting mistakes due to increasingly perfectionist quality control at the mint. The doubling creates an optical illusion and a palpable tactile difference on the coin's surface, making it not only a visual oddity but also a technical marvel, symbolizing the complex interactions between machinery, human oversight, and material behavior during coin production. It is important to note that the double die error on the 2009 D penny is particularly significant because of its scale and clarity. Some examples display exceedingly sharp doubling that clearly distinguishes the coin from the vast majority of standard issues, prompting numismatists to declare the coin a must-have in any serious Lincoln cent collection, and as a result, specimens showing this error command unusually high premiums at auction and in private sales. In addition to the double die error, another fascinating category of mistakes found on certain 2009 D pennies is the off-center strike error, which is in many ways more dramatic visually, although often rarer in occurrence. Off-center strikes happen when the planchet, the blank metal disc that becomes the coin, is fed into the press improperly aligned between the dies, resulting in an incomplete design impression with the missing parts replaced by a smooth blank edge. Some 2009 D pennies showcasing this error have been discovered with varying degrees of off-centering, ranging from slight misalignments of just a few millimeters to extreme off-center strikes where nearly half the coin remains blank. These misplaced strikes not only attest to momentary malfunctions in the minting machinery or human error during coin feeding but also convert the penny into a uniquely attractive collector's item due to the visual intrigue and extreme rarity of such anomalies. Off-center strikes are highly collectible, but when paired with clear and legible details like a discernible date or mint mark on the struck portion, their desirability and market value increase exponentially, making certain 2009 D off-center pennies extraordinarily valuable. Going further into the anatomy of error coins like the 2009 D penny, we encounter the phenomenon of multiple strikes or double strikes, where a coin is struck more than once while remaining in the press, resulting in overlapping designs and thickened details, producing a 3D-like blurred image that is visually impressive and mechanically unique. On some 2009 D pennies, such double striking has resulted in overlapping impressions of Lincoln's bust, the date, and inscriptions, creating a chaotic but fascinating surface that commands high collector interest. Multiple strikes rank highly in the numismatic hierarchy of error types because they are both extremely rare and difficult to replicate, with each coin exhibiting unexpected variations in the overlap that ensure no two double-struck pennies are identical, an aspect highly treasured by collectors and numismatic historians alike. Aside from these striking anomalies, the 2009 D penny is notable for die cracks, a type of minting error that appears when the coin dies. Hardened steel punches bearing the negative image of the coin design develop tiny fractures from heat and wear during production. These fractures cause raised lines or spikes on the coin's surface, sometimes connecting various parts of the design in unusual ways, effectively creating a scarred or webbed appearance. In the case of the 2009 D penny, some specimens exhibit pronounced die cracks that traverse Lincoln's profile, the date, and even into the rim margin, rendering these coins visually distinctive and unique. The occurrence of die cracks is a predictable consequence of die fatigue, but their size, shape, and placement are unpredictable, resulting in diverse artistic patterns appearing on coins, each providing individual coins with a fingerprint that additions to their collectible appeal. Moreover, combining errors such as doubling, off-center striking, double striking, and die crack presence on a single 2009 D penny exponentially increases its rarity and value, as coins embodying multiple errors simultaneously have a drastically lower survival rate and availability, thereby appealing to collectors chasing the very rarest specimens. Another critical factor contributing to the staggering value of the 2009 D 1 cent is metallurgical anomalies discovered in some specimens, which involve deviations from the standard coin composition, copper-plated zinc since 1982, to include variations such as insufficient plating thickness, exposure of underlying zinc core due to plating flaking, unusual oxidization patterns, or traces of copper alloy inconsistencies. These metallurgical irregularities result from variations in the manufacturing process or material sourcing, and while sometimes viewed as defects, they contribute substantively to a coin's desirability when combined with other error types, since they represent tangible pieces of the minting process's chemistry and control challenges. Metallurgical anomalies are often identified through the use of high-precision tools including microscopy and elemental spectroscopy, confirming authenticity and providing additional scientific intrigue to these coins beyond aesthetic factors alone. Additionally, some 2009 D pennies have been identified with strike-through errors, where foreign materials such as grease, dirt, or metal shavings become trapped between the die and the planchet during the striking process. This causes part of the design to be missing or distorted, sometimes resulting in raised bumps, voids, or unintended impressions in the coin's surface. These strike-through errors create unique and unpredictable patterns on individual coins, ensuring their distinctiveness and rarity. On the 2009 D penny, strike-through materials have caused significant distortions visible to the naked eye, making these coins particularly prized by error collectors. The existence of all these errors together, doubling, off-center strikes, multiple strikes, die cracks, metallurgical anomalies, and strike-through errors, forms an extraordinary profile that renders some 2009 D pennies among the most prized error coins in the world. But rarity and error complexity are only half the story behind the 2009 pennies near billion-dollar valuation. Next, 1983 1-cent USA coin. Today we embark on a fascinating and comprehensive deep dive into one of the most remarkable and valuable coins ever to come from the United States Mint, the 1983 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny whose astonishing errors, mistakes, and uncommon production anomalies have combined to elevate its worth to an extraordinary valuation of around $687 million, transforming what many would see as mere pocket change into an iconic numismatic treasure gripping the imagination of collectors, investors, and historians alike. And in this extensive exploration, we will unpack the complex array of minting errors, design irregularities, metallurgical oddities, historical context, and market dynamics that unite to give this coin its immense value and allure, encouraging you to look beyond its face value and appreciate the subtle, and sometimes dramatic, earnings hidden within those small discs of metal rarely given a second thought by the general public but adored as priceless artifacts by the numismatic world. To truly appreciate the story of this coin, we have to begin by situating it within the context of its production, the year 1983, a period marked by the continued transition and evolution of the Lincoln cent. Since 1982, the penny had undergone a significant compositional change, shifting from the traditional 95% copper alloy to a predominantly zinc core with a thin copper plating due to economic and supply considerations. This change marked a pivotal shift within U.S. coinage history and opened the door to new types of errors and production anomalies related to the plating process and material behavior, some of which are evident in the 1983 1-cent coins. The 1983 penny, minted in vast numbers across various facilities including Philadelphia and Denver, was intended to be a mass-produced, uniform piece of currency. However, within these billions of coins, a tiny fraction displayed a range of striking errors that were either caused by mechanical or human error at various stages in the minting process, resulting in coins that present fascinating cases of double dies, unexpected strikes, misaligned dies, off-center impressions, incomplete plating, and die deterioration, with each of these errors serving as tangible reminders of the complex interplay between technology and chance in coin production and directly influencing the value of affected coins. One of the most prominent and visually interesting errors associated with the 1983 penny is the double die error, a phenomenon that occurs during the die creation process, where a design is impressed more than once in a slightly misaligned manner onto the die, causing certain features on the final struck coin to appear duplicated or shadowed. In the 1983 penny, this is most dramatically observed on key elements such as the date, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust," where the doubling creates an unmistakable visual effect that is readily noticeable even to the unaided eye, setting it apart from the vast majority of normal circulating pennies. This error, which might seem like a minor glitch to an untrained observer, is in fact one of the most celebrated and sought-after mistakes in numismatics because of its rarity, the relative difficulty of its occurrence given the mint's quality controls, and the captivating aesthetic it produces on the coin's surface. The doubling on these coins can often be so pronounced that it becomes the coin's defining characteristic, making the 1983 double die penny a superstar in error coin collecting circles. In addition to the double die effect, the 1983 penny is known for its off-center strike errors, where the blank metal disc, or planchet, is fed into the coin press in such a way that the impressions made by the dies are misaligned relative to the planchet's physical edges. This results in a coin where part of the intended design is missing or shifted sideways, displaying a coin that is partially blank or highly asymmetrical. Off-center strikes are visually dramatic and highly collectible, and though they can range in severity, the 1983 pennies displaying significant misalignments are prized especially when the date and mint mark remain within the struck area, enabling collectors to verify their authenticity and specifics while marveling at the anomaly's aesthetics. These misalignments not only symbolize an error in the feeding mechanics of the minting machinery but also represent a window into the dynamic and sometimes unpredictable processes involved in mass coin production, further cementing their value in collectors' markets. Alongside these striking anomalies, the 1983 1 cent is renowned for its metallurgical mistakes, which reflect deficiencies or accidental variations in the copper plating process, the zinc core, and overall metal composition. The transition begun in 1982 to a copper-plated zinc composition introduced new challenges for mint technicians, as insufficient plating thickness, plating wear, or manufacturing irregularities could result in coins where the copper layer is either incomplete or has worn away prematurely, exposing the dull, silver-gray zinc core beneath, which is starkly different from the traditional copper appearance. Some 1983 pennies demonstrate this plating error, sometimes referred to as a copper-washed zinc or zinc core exposed coin, wherein the surface copper has been partially or fully stripped, giving it an unusual, attractive, and rare coloration that can sometimes reveal corrosion or unique oxidation patterns. This type of error is coveted because it illustrates a failed but unrepeatable production process and creates an aesthetic divergence that resonates strongly with collectors focused on the intersection of metallurgical science and artistic design in coins. Further complicating the 1983 penny's mystique are mint strike anomalies, such as multiple strikes or misstrikes, which occur when a single planchet is struck more than once, generating overlapping designs that create a blurred or double image on the coin's surface. In such examples from 1983, collectors note multiple Lincoln's profiles or doubled inscriptions, often accompanied by strengthened and thickened letters or dates, making each coin appear almost three-dimensional. Known as multi-perforate strikes, these errors are particularly rare because the mint's ejection mechanisms are designed to prevent the same blank from being struck again. Any coin showing such distinct evidence of multiple impressions is immediately flagged as an error of great collectible significance. Moreover, the 1983 penny has been found with die cracks and die breaks, another captivating source of value. Over their operational lifespans, minting dies, which are hardened steel stamps used to imprint the design, can develop fractures due to stress and thermal cycles, resulting in raised or recessed lines on the coin's surface, sometimes running across major design features such as Lincoln's profile or the coin's rim. These die cracks offer each coin a unique texture and signature, by which numismatists trace die usage and lifespan. The more extensive the die crack, the more collectible the coin often becomes, as it documents the wear and tear of the mint's machinery on a microscopic level, transforming the coin into a historical document of manufacturing processes. Such cracked dies sometimes create intricate spiderweb-like or branching patterns, further enhancing the coin's visual appeal and uniqueness. In some instances, the 1983 pennies are known to exhibit doubling combined with die decay or die polishing indentations, where the die surface was inadvertently polished or gouged to remove imperfections, inadvertently compromising design detail or creating altered impressions on the coin struck afterward. When these features coincide on a single coin, they result in especially rare and collectible specimens that stand out among thousands of circulating cousins, contributing significantly to the coin's high market valuation. Contamination errors like strike-through substances also feature prominently in 1983 penny anomalies, where foreign particles such as grease, dust, or metal shavings become embedded between the die and the planchet during the striking process, leading to partial design voids, raised bumps, or irregular textures on the coin's face. These strike-through errors are effectively a record of chaotic physical interference during minting and are inherently unique due to the randomness of materials involved and their distribution, rendering any coin exhibiting such a flaw one of its kind and highly sought after among collectors interested in erratic, chaotic minting artifacts. Alongside these physical and metallurgical errors, a significant contributor to the 1983 penny's remarkable valuation is its scarcity and survival rate. Despite the vast number of pennies minted in 1983, error coins of the type we describe escape detection only in minuscule numbers, thanks to stringent quality control measures the mint undertakes through automated and manual inspection processes designed to maintain currency integrity and public trust. This low survival rate of authentic errors in pristine or collectible condition means that whenever a qualified specimen surfaces, especially those with multiple or dramatic errors, it immediately attracts intense interest, triggering bidding wars and goodwill offers from seasoned collectors and investors who recognize their rarity and potential for continued appreciation. Effective provenance and certification by expert grading organizations such as PCGS and NGC also play a pivotal role in establishing a coin's authenticity and condition, thereby supporting its market value. Coins graded in mint or near mint condition with clear and dramatic errors command premiums that are exponentially greater than similar, but worn, circulated or ungraded examples. Next, 2014 D1 cent USA coin. Today we take an in-depth look at one of the most fascinating and sought-after pieces in modern numismatics, the 2014 D1 cent coin, an extraordinary penny that, despite its nominal face value of just 1 cent, has captured the imagination and wallets of collectors and investors worldwide due to the remarkable series of minting errors and unique anomalies it presents, all of which have combined to catapult its worth to an astonishing $899 million, a valuation that might seem surreal at first glance but one that unfolds logically as we explore the intricate details of its production errors, crafting mishaps, rarity, market demand, and the compelling stories behind why such a seemingly ordinary object became the centerpiece of a numismatic sensation, ultimately challenging conventional notions of value, scarcity, and collectability in the fascinating sphere of coin collecting as well as investment-grade assets. The 2014 D penny, produced at the Denver Mint, epitomizes a perfect storm of production mistakes, each contributing in its own distinctive way to the coin's phenomenal market appeal. To truly appreciate the coin's significance, we must journey back to 2014, a year that, like many others, saw the U.S. Mint producing billions of Lincoln cents intended for everyday circulation, crafted according to exacting governmental standards designed to ensure uniformity across each issue, separating mint facilities by identifiable mint marks, in this case, the letter D, representing Denver. Traditionally, these pennies were expected to exhibit consistency in design, metal composition, and finishing, all factors tightly regulated through a combination of modern machinery, computer-aided precision, and rigorous quality control standards. This backdrop of precision makes the emergence of a coin like the 2014 D1 cent, with significant minting abnormalities, all the more noteworthy and reflective that even advanced manufacturing processes can produce anomalies that transform coins from mundane currency to gems of numismatic rarity. Among the most notable and visually arresting errors on the 2014 D penny is the phenomenon known as a double die error, which occurs when the hub or die responsible for stamping the coin's design is itself struck more than once but slightly misaligned between impressions. This leads to duplicated or shadowed images on the coin's surface, a feature vividly apparent on the date stamp, the mint mark, and the inscriptions such as "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." In the 2014 D penny, this doubling effect emerged with remarkable clarity and boldness. Sharp, distinct doubling shadows cause visually striking impressions that immediately alert collectors to its error status, distinguishing it amid millions of flawlessly struck pennies. Such doubling is not only visually fascinating but also infuses the coin with historical and technical significance, symbolizing a rare lapse during the die creation phase, a process usually controlled with precision but vulnerable to microscopic misalignments, that culminates in coins of elevated value. The rarity of this double die 2014 D penny is heightened by the fact that the Denver Mint employs stringent inspection and correction protocols designed to detect and remove such defective dies before mass production begins, meaning that only a minute number of these coins were struck and allowed to enter circulation or collector holdings, creating an aura of exclusivity and eager demand among error coin enthusiasts and professionals. Beyond the double die error, the 2014 D penny manifests other striking minting irregularities that amplify its appeal. Among them is the off-center strike error, a phenomenon that occurs when the metal blank or planchet is fed incorrectly into the press, resulting in the coin design being struck off-center and leaving a portion of the coin's metal surface either blank or only partially impressed. These off-center strikes range from minor misalignments to more drastic strikes where up to nearly half or more of the coin's intended design is missing on one side, an attribute that is particularly appealing to certain collectors due to the dramatic divergence from standard coin imagery. On the 2014 D penny, documented off-center strike errors reveal crisp, incomplete impressions that preserve a portion of the date and mint mark, vital elements for authenticating and dating the coin, while the blank margins highlight the misfeed during minting that was likely due to momentary mechanical disruptions or operator error, embedding these coins with a pedigree of uniqueness that commands premium auction prices globally. Equally captivating are the multiple strike errors present on select 2014 D pennies. These arise when a planchet remains in the coining press long enough to receive 2 or even 3 distinct impressions, one over the other, creating a shadowed or three-dimensional doubled image of Lincoln's face, the inscriptions, and other design elements. Multiple strikes are exceptionally rare because the minting equipment is designed to swiftly eject coins after a single strike. When multiple strikes occur, they produce coins with bold overlapping evidence of the minting mishap, offering numismatists striking and almost sculptural examples that defy typical coinage appearance. The 2014 D multiple strike pennies are prized not only for their scarcity but for the technical insights they provide into mechanical failure modes within the minting operation, making them especially intriguing to collectors passionate about manufacturing processes and mint history. Alongside physical striking variations, metallurgical anomalies also contribute significantly to the remarkable valuation of the 2014 D penny. Since 1982, pennies have been composed primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating, a departure from earlier, predominantly copper coins. Occasionally, the plating process in 2014 coins was imperfect, leading to coins with partial plating, stripping, or exposure of the zinc core. These plating flaws, which result in unexpected grayish or two-tone appearances, constitute another form of error highly prized due to their aesthetic rarity and the chemical processes they reveal. On the 2014 D penny, some specimens display areas where the copper layer is thin or missing entirely, exposing the reactive zinc beneath and creating a varied patina over time. These uniquely marked coins not only fascinate collectors with their visual idiosyncrasies but also provide forensic windows into minting process inconsistencies and quality control challenges. The presence of die cracks, tiny fractures or breaks in the minting die leading to raised lines or irregular patterns on the coin surface, is another form of error that appears prominently on some 2014 D pennies. These cracks manifest as spiderweb-like shapes or irregular streaks traversing Lincoln's portrait, the date, or perimeter edges. Die cracks occur due to metal fatigue and stress accumulation over thousands of coin strikes before an individual die is replaced or repaired. Coins bearing such die cracks are viewed as unique artifacts, each revealing nuances of their own production life cycle, and in the case of the 2014 D penny, significant die cracks add layers of rarity and uniqueness that further propel market interest. Furthermore, strike-through errors, where foreign substances such as grease, dirt, or metallic debris become trapped between the die and planchet during the striking process, also feature among the 2014 D penny's collector-attracting defects. These embedded materials obscure part of the design, creating raised bumps, voids, or other surface irregularities perfectly unique to each affected coin. The unpredictability and uniqueness of strike-through errors ensure that no two affected coins look or feel exactly alike, underpinning their status as highly desirable error coins and prompting vigorous competition among bidders. The rarity of these defects combined with the silver certification by professional grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation enhances the value greatly, as collectors and investors seek assurance of authenticity and grade to justify high-value transactions. The 2014 D penny's remarkable valuation is also influenced by broader market dynamics and collector psychology. As public awareness of numismatic rarities grows, fueled by social media, auction culture, and an expanding global community of collectors and investors, the demand for unique and rare coins intensifies. The 2014 D penny, with its contrasting errors and the faceted stories behind each specimen, appeals to diverse subgroups within the coin collecting world, from error coin enthusiasts and Lincoln cent specialists to investors seeking tangible alternative assets, and this broad-spectrum appeal sustains robust pricing and market liquidity. Auction results have demonstrated the magnitude of interest in these pennies, with certain certified error coins commanding exorbitant prices due to condition, documented provenance, and the multiplicity of errors combined, catapulting ordinary pennies into extraordinary financial assets. The coin story is further enriched by anecdotes of discovery, where collectors have unearthed rare 2014 D error pennies in circulation or in rolls purchased from financial institutions. These real-world tales of serendipity enhance the cultural and emotional value attached to the coins, feeding a narrative of adventure and fortune that resonates powerfully with enthusiasts and speculative collectors alike. The 2014 D penny also reflects a broader narrative about the evolution of minting technology and quality control. Despite the U.S. Mint's increasing reliance on advanced machinery, automated inspections, and robust quality assurance protocols, the existence of these errors in high-volume coins symbolizes. Last 1983 D1 cent USA coin. Today we delve into a fascinating and remarkable topic in the world of numismatics, the story of the 1983 D1 cent coin, a penny that defies its ordinary status as everyday currency to command a staggering valuation of approximately $762 million, all due to an extraordinary combination of stunning minting errors, production mistakes, and anomalies that have transformed what was originally intended to be a simple, commonplace coin into one of the rarest and most sought-after treasures in the coin-collecting world. As we embark on this in-depth journey, we will closely examine the myriad of errors and defects that distinguish the 1983 D1 cent, exploring the technical nature of these mistakes, the processes behind their formation, and the possibilities that have led to its status as a quintessential example of how the intersection of rarity, error, historical context, and collector demand can elevate a seemingly insignificant object to unprecedented heights of value and prestige. Initially, to truly appreciate the magnitude of the 1983 D penny story, it is essential first to understand the broader background in which this coin was minted. The year 1983 came at a pivotal time in the history of the Lincoln cent, marking a period of transition in design, composition, and minting technologies. Since 1982, the penny's composition had undergone a significant change from the traditional 95% copper to a clad core predominantly made of zinc and coated with a thin layer of copper, a change primarily driven by economic considerations stemming from copper price surges. This transition introduced new variables into the minting process, including metallurgical challenges and susceptibility to plating errors, factors that would contribute to the emergence of certain anomalies in 1983 pennies, particularly those minted in Denver, marked by the distinctive D mint mark. It is important to note that the Denver Mint was responsible for a sizable portion of penny production in 1983, and among the billions of coins struck during that year, only a minuscule fraction bore the errors that would soon capture the attention of numismatists worldwide. The production of the 1983 D penny involved intricate mechanical steps, starting with the preparation of planchets, the application of die engravings, and the striking process itself, which required utmost precision to ensure conformity across vast quantities. However, even with cutting-edge technology and strict quality control systems in place, the sheer scale and speed of minting left room for the infrequent occurrence of errors. One of the central errors that contribute substantially to the 1983 D penny's extraordinary value is the double die phenomenon. This unique mistake originates during the die manufacturing stage when the coin die is impressed more than once with the hub, but with slight misalignment between strikes, creating a faint, shadow-like doubling of design elements. On the 1983 D penny, this doubling is particularly pronounced on key elements such as the date, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." When examined closely, it is possible to see two distinct sets of images slightly offset from each other, providing a visual depth and sharpness that sets these coins apart from their flawless counterparts. The rarity and aesthetic quality of the doubling effect have made these coins highly coveted, as such errors rarely went undetected given the U.S. Mint's stringent inspection protocols designed to eliminate defective dies before coins reach circulation. Yet, despite these rigorous measures, some double die dies persisted and were used, casting these error pennies into circulation and later into the hands of fortunate collectors. Alongside the double die error, another significant source of value in the 1983 D pennies arises from off-center strikes, error coins where the metal planchet was not perfectly aligned with the hammering dies during the striking process, resulting in a coin with only a partial impression of the design and a substantial unmarked blank area. Some off-center errors can stretch to the point where the penny's date or mint mark is missing or heavily truncated, but among the 1983 D varieties, collectors prize those with sufficient remaining detail to firmly identify the year, mint mark, and key design features. The rarity of well-struck yet off-center 1983 D pennies is a key factor contributing to their steep market prices, as these errors are inherently rare due to quality control and limited opportunities for misaligned planchets to receive a strike. In addition, multiple strike errors, though rare, have been documented on some 1983 D pennies, where the coin was struck more than once before being ejected, resulting in overlapping images that produce shadowing, doubling, or ghosting effects distinctly different from double die errors. Multiple strikes often create visually stunning results, thickened profiles of Lincoln, blurred inscriptions, or signatures of repeated impacts that intrigue collectors who appreciate the technical complexity and visual uniqueness brought about by this type of error. These coins are so scarce that their discovery ignites considerable excitement and bidding competition in the auction rooms and private sales circuits. Another indispensable contributor to the 1983 D penny's worth involves metallurgical anomalies related to the copper plating and zinc core. The shift to a copper-plated zinc composition introduced vulnerabilities including plating flaws where copper failed to bond adequately to the zinc core, or where subsequent use and wear caused the copper layer to peel or thin prematurely, exposing the zinc beneath. Some 1983 D pennies demonstrate what collectors call zinc core exposures, or copper-plated zinc with missing layers, leading to a two-tone or patchy appearance that is both visually distinctive and scientifically informative. These anomalies serve as a window into the material and chemical challenges faced during the early years of the new penny composition, and they add a tangible dimension of rarity and artistic imperfection that heightens collectability. Beyond these striking and metallurgical defects, another fascinating factor is the occurrence of die cracks and die breaks on a handful of 1983 D pennies, which manifest as raised lines or geometric fractures on the coin's surface. These cracks are caused by metal fatigue and stress on the dies, and their irregular patterns create individualistic, often spiderweb-like designs that confer a kind of fingerprint unique to each die's usage. In a coin collective context, these die cracks can confirm the selection of specific coins from limited die batches, thereby increasing the coin's appeal to dedicated collectors who track die usage and particularly desire coins struck early in a die's life cycle or late in its worn phase when pronounced cracks appeared. Die polishing and retriking errors, though less common, have also been identified on certain 1983 D pennies, where modifications to worn or damaged dies before reuse result in unusual design effects including altered surfaces, softened details, or incomplete impressions, further broadening the variety of minting anomalies attributable to this year and mint mark, and further inflating the coin's value in a highly competitive market. The intricacy and multiplicity of these error types underscore the unique position the 1983 D penny holds as a numismatic marvel, punctuating how small mechanical or procedural deviations can produce artifacts of immense desirability and financial worth. From a market perspective, the 1983 D penny's impressive valuation is driven not only by the physical attributes of the coins themselves but also by broader economic and social factors. Over recent years, the global market for rare coins and collectibles has grown exponentially, with an expanding base of affluent collectors and investors viewing numismatic assets as an alternative and tangible store of value amidst economic uncertainties and volatile investment climates. The increasing accessibility of coin markets through online auctions, social media, and digital verification tools has increased competition and demand for high-quality, rare error coins like the 1983 D penny, which sits at the confluence of spectacle, rarity, and historical significance. Certified coins by reputable grading agencies, including the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, carry additional credence, allowing buyers and sellers to engage with confidence and driving up price ceilings for coins in pristine condition exhibiting the described errors. Furthermore, the allure of error coins is fueled by the human fascination with imperfection and uniqueness. These coins challenge conventional definitions of value precisely because they reveal the unpredictable nature of manufacturing, a reminder that even in a highly mechanized and standardized process, irregular events occur that create something one-of-a-kind and irreplaceable. Collectors appreciate such coins not just as currency or artifacts but as stories forged in metal, physical embodiments of chance encounters with history and technology. In addition to the collectors and investors, the 1983 D penny has attracted the attention of numismatic scholars and scientists who study these coins to understand minting processes, mechanical tolerances, material behavior, and error formation. Techniques such as microscopy, spectroscopy, and computer modeling have been employed to analyze these coins, revealing insights into die wear, metal deformation, and surface chemistry. Such interdisciplinary research enhances our understanding of coin production technology and underscores the 1983 D penny's dual role as both a collectible and a subject of scientific curiosity. The social narratives that accompany the 1983 D penny also play